Wow. This sure looks different from the last time I was here. This year's Tulsa Showcase House for 2025. I think this bedroom is gorgeous. I think that this entryway looks great. This one was done by Susan Eddings Perez. How many of you remember her from last year? She's the lady who did the primary bedroom that I was like gaga over, and so many of you guys loved her because she and I, we look like we were sisters. Our design aesthetic is so similar, so I love her taste and I love what she's done here. You know, you look at a small entryway and you think, what kind of furniture can you put in there to make any kind of difference? Susan used a really oversized piece of furniture down here, a credenza effect. But I believe, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure this is one of Susan's original paintings. She's also an artist, I know, right? So not fair. She put this up here. It has this soft aqua seafoam green with the gold touches and the kind of neutral shades and whites. The walls are white, the crown is white, and then she put these oversized, overscaled pair of lamps on either end of this credenza. This is so my style. I even love how she did this trough here, just with moss in it, some tulips, and then just a few little accessory pieces, not too much. She's done a great job with finding an area rug pretty much down the hallway that has pattern, print, and color in it. And it's a little wider than you typically see for a runner rug. She added a drum shade pendant light here, a semi-flush here that's in the brass. There's a really cool brass sconce at the end of the wall there. Super clean. Great job, Susan. The house will actually be open on May 3rd through the 18th. It is my pleasure to reintroduce Susan Eddings Perez to you guys again this year. A lot of you saw last year's showcase house where I toured the house and then I selected, I think, 5 designers to interview. Susan was one of them. She's the one who did the primary bedroom in last year's showcase house.
So much fun.
This large, is this one of your paintings?
This is one of my paintings.
Okay, so she's an amazing artist. The color palette, how you brought in the area rug.
Started with the rug. I knew I needed a long rug, but to find a runner, but to find runners like you like, that's everything.
Oh my God, I realized what you did.
I took a 10 by 14 rug
And
that I love, and I cut it.
And
yeah. See, anybody can do that.
Yes.
Anybody can do that. This is how I doctored up and made, these are the pieces that you order. I mean, and
so are these separate pieces?
These are 3 separate pieces, but I made the bridge. I made that bridge. It
almost reminds me of a waterfall edge.
Yeah,
right?
yes, it's exactly what it is. But I didn't want to see the line of each individual piece. So you all can do this. So you don't have to start from scratch. And then I didn't like how I was going to see that. So I did a kick plate.
Oh.
So Ryan, my son, made that.
Do you have goosebumps? I do. That was so
Anybody can do it. So
I love that. So where should we go from here? We're in the entryway. In a house this size, there are so many options. We could go into the dining room. I think we should wait on that. We could go upstairs. We could go into the speakeasy. Wait till you see it. We could go into the, I don't know, it's like a kitchen, side room, den kind of thing. Or we could go into the room that I would have chosen had I chosen to be a designer in the showcase house. I would have picked this amazing living room. Let's go. Isn't this room amazing? I mean, this is an interior designer's dream project, if you ask me. It has so many possibilities for how you lay your furniture out. You could create one large space where everything is sort of congregates in the center. You could have 3 separate spaces, which is what we're about to see. You could do so many different things. I'm excited to tell you that the designer who did this room this year is none other than UNCUT. How many of you remember UNCUT from last year's showcase house? I actually met her for the first time, and when she walked in, she let me know. Apparently, she chose interior design as her career path as a result of following me for years. I was shocked and also very humbled, and so I don't know, it was crazy. But you know what, I've gotten to know Gunta, and this is the room that she did. So let's see what Gunta did to bring this room together in her vision. Gunta chose to separate the room into 3 separate settings. However, they're also close enough that on particular occasions that you have, everyone is still in the same room and can still congregate and yet have intimacy at the same time. I love the fact that she used a black grand piano in this center section, surrounded by window treatments that go all the way around. I think they look very nice. And then she's got a little sitting area. So this would be the area, let's say if you're having a party, you might hire a pianist. Or if you're like me, you might have a player piano and it can play all the time anyway, which is great. But it's beautiful. You have this view outside. It's just glorious in this section. And this is kind of what pulls the other 2 sides together. Over the years in my own design practice, I have exercised this furniture placement layout numerous times. I feel like the 4 chairs that face each other are so perfect for conversation. She also grounded this particular sitting area with more of a traditional style rug in a soft gray blue, a nice neutral off-white. And in this room, in a lot of places, I know that she used some of the Royce Meyer Gallery art pieces, which I think that's so nice of Royce. One of the things that Gunta did that I think was unusual, and you can take a look and see what you think, the window treatments are different. In the piano area, she has all the off-white linen look, but in this particular area, she chose a print of a navy blue and sort of a khaki color. It's a medallion print that's repeated very, very over and over and over again. It's small enough that in that case, I think a print window treatment looks nice. If it had been a large fan print and then you tried to pull it all together for window treatments, then you lose the pattern. But in this, I can still see the pattern and I think it looks nice. Did I tell you that this house is on the market? They're selling it. So the woman who bought it to refurbish and sell. Maybe you're interested. Want to move to Tulsa? Because it'll cost you a whole lot less money in Tulsa to buy a house like this than it would if you were in California or New York or just about anywhere else in the world. All right, let's go take a look at the other side. Again, perfect furniture placement in here. She has a U shape. So it looks to me like Gunta chose a sofa that's kind of between a love seat size and a sofa size. It's not too big and it's not too small. It's actually a really beautiful sofa and it's in the very neutral color, which brings in the color of the floor. Do you see how this is a geometric style flooring? It's repetitive, which also kind of brings in that repetitive look on the window treatments on the other side. And then she has 2 sets of chairs. She has a set here, and it's kind of in a super light gray color, and then a set here that brings in the plum. Now remember, over on the other side, the pillows over there have plum in them. So she's kind of repeating a matter, and she also brings those in with her art pieces as well. Before we leave, let me just show you this. I love this painting. How many of you guys recognize this? This is the artist who did the painting that I used in my living room. I put it above my fireplace with the pear behind it. Do you guys remember that? It was a woman's face. Yeah, they used it here. And again, this is from the Royce Meyer Gallery. I think that that is amazing. And honestly, for an original art piece, this is not that expensive. It's way less expensive than you might think. You should check out the Royce Meyer Gallery. This is not a collaboration and it's not a commercial. I just think they have great stuff. I think it would be good for me to mention before I leave this area that the homeowner who currently bought this home, she had a request, and that was she wanted to maintain as much of the historical value and content in the home as possible. So you'll see in a lot of these rooms, a lot of modern things that the designers bring in. She asked that the original light fixtures be restored throughout the house and used as much as possible. She gave the designers a lot of leeway to make their choices, but I believe this is one of the original light fixtures that was in this home, and I think it looks great in here. And the fact that there's one on either side, it's all about symmetry, guys. So where to next? How about the formal dining room? Let's come in and take a look at the formal dining room. I remember seeing this room when I came for the first time, and the paint alone was quite different than it is now. This room was done by Jane Butts, and I think she did a really nice job. I feel like she went with kind of a vintage look, almost as though you're going to visit grandma. The scale of the table seems really small to me, as do the chairs, but I think that's the point. It's kind of meant to look like a vintage dining room. She's used a beautiful pink, soft pink damask tablecloth, pink goblets on the table with a gold rim around the top. And then she has this beautiful, I don't know if it's apricot or cantaloupe, it's kind of a rusty orange plate underneath on top of a gold glass charger. And then a salad plate that goes on top of that that has butterflies, I think. I don't have my glasses on, but I think those are butterflies. She set the table really beautifully for something special. This looks to me like it would be a great spring women's luncheon kind of thing, or for Easter, something like that. As you take a look at the room, she's taken this beautiful wood floor that's got the inlays in it like the other floors. That's one of the things that makes this house so quality. But she has laid a woven sisal looking rug on top of it. I believe this is machine made. Let me come over here and take a look. Yep, it's machine made. Do you know how you can tell the difference? If it's machine made, it usually has like a plastic backing to it. If it is hand woven, you can see the weaving from behind. But it works well, and it's an affordable area rug to use. What I do appreciate is the chairs can come back all the way without going off of the rug in order to pull in and out. And that is key when selecting an area rug to go under your dining table. I think this is a really beautiful spot over here. She's put in a garden effect. Now this is not fresh, this is all artificial flowers that we have here, but it looks really good and colorful, and it ties the artwork in so beautifully. Don't stop. What she did was she picked a really nice color for the walls. This is a very nice, it's warmer than off-white, but the ceiling is off-white. So this ceiling is a barrel ceiling. Again, the architectural aspects of this house are what really stand out to me. Then she painted the crown that's very, very ornate. She painted it the warmer color in the center and the white color on the outside edge and on the other edge that hits the wall. So you see it's like a two-tone in the ceiling treatment. I think it's actually quite effective and makes this room look really nice. Don't stop. But here's something to point out. This is actually from the original house. This is what the house came with, and it is an all crystal chandelier, keeping the homeowner's desires in mind to use whatever they could in the way of the vintage light fixtures that were already here. And then she finishes it off with what I would call, again, not antique, but more of a vintage type china cabinet. Again, something that I might have seen in my mother's home or in my grandmother's home. And she's filled it with all kinds of accessory pieces, china pieces within that same color scheme, just finishing off the room beautifully. In order to really appreciate this kitchen, you probably need to see what it looked like before. I think we could have an amen and a thumbs up for Kitchen Concepts. They did an amazing job renovating this kitchen. The backsplash is going all the way up to the underside of the upper cabinets. The use of keeping the corbel look, that gives it a very vintage look. The rounded arched hood right here. And then putting this in front of the windows. How often do you see a cooktop or a range in front of the windows? Not very often. and I think that looks amazing. This little corner here has one of those arched windows, and you'll see this in another place when we get to other rooms in this house. It looks to me like they're the ends of a bottle. I don't think that's what it is, but if you happen to be a stained glass person and you know what it is that they use for this, leave me a comment below. I'd love to know. This is a really nice corner here, a great place to put this beautiful vessel here with plants and flowers in it. It'd be also great if this wasn't a showcase house, having some fresh herbs sitting around here would be awesome. I also appreciate the fact that there is an island in this kitchen, but this island is an antique piece of furniture. I did a series of videos on movie sets. One of them was Something's Gotta Give, another one was It's Complicated, and another one was The Holiday. And in the last two videos, they did use separate island type pieces of furniture for their island where it's open. It just gives it a kind of a country kitchen feel, and it makes it look so homey and yummy. She staged it here. Oh, I wonder if this is real. Probably was at one time, but I would not try that if I were you. In this kitchen, everything is in white. It's very neutral. I love even the hardware that they used on the cabinets themselves, the long brass handles. But here's one of the things I think is super cool. I was here before they changed this. This was the original cabinet that was here, and they just painted it this beautiful French blue color. Changed out all the hardware, and of course they took the backsplash all the way up, matching the countertop. Guys, if you are doing a kitchen remodel, one of the things that people always struggle over is, what should I use for my backsplash? People want to do, remember back in the day, in the Tuscan era, and everyone had like a bottle of wine and grapes on their backsplash, and now nobody wants that? Okay. If you want something that is timeless and going to look great no matter what, using solid slab up the back that matches your countertop is a great choice. It takes a lot of vision to completely remodel a kitchen like this, to see what it looked like before and visualize what it could look like. So all in all, this room is amazing. Now I'll tell you my favorite thing. You want to know? These lights. I don't know if they're the original lights. I'm going to find out and I will let you know. If this is what came with this kitchen, I kind of don't think so. But they are gorgeous, oversized, vintage. They go with all the vintage lights that they kept in this house. Plus you can see they added can lighting, which is an amazing thing. And just a little note, this integrated refrigerator and freezer is counter depth. Do you see that? Some of you have refrigerators that stick out to here, don't you? Don't you want a counter depth refrigerator? I know. I have one and I love it. Guys, I have to introduce you to Lynn Knight Jesse. She is the woman who designed this kitchen and built it, her company. I've fallen in love with her in a very short amount of time. And guess what? Here's a little known fact. At least you don't know it. Everyone else around here does. Her daughter is the designer, Erin Harp, who designed the primary bedroom and bathroom. Are you so proud of your daughter?
I'm so proud of both of my children. My son works with me also, and he's the president of our company, our cabinet company. So we've had kind of a family.
And you all still talk to each other?
Well, I don't work with my daughter, so that keeps that nice for her, I'm sure.
That's smart. So tell us about this kitchen. When you got here, what were the parameters that you had in this project?
Well, fortunately, working with Anita, she was wonderful to work with.
That's the homeowner. Mm-hmm.
She gave us pretty much full range of what we wanted to do.
Who doesn't love that?
I loved it. It was fun. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to show what you can do with a project instead of trying to do exactly the perimeters.
Right. Speaking of range, this range back here is gorgeous. Who is this by?
This is Bertazzoni, and it really is beautiful.
Yeah.
And we wanted it in here because we wanted to add a touch of the black.
Yes, and with all the brass accents and the chrome, it's just a beautiful, beautiful combination. And then the hood, is this a custom design?
Yes, we custom designed the hood, and then we'll have the vent in there.
Then this wraps around over here, and you guys kept the vintage.
That was the main thing. We were trying to keep the vintage window.
Yes.
We tried to keep as much vintage, like this piece is a vintage piece.
One of the things I love best, and I don't know if you brought these in or if this was part of the home originally, because I know the homeowner wanted to keep a lot of the original lighting, those pendant lights.
They were not original to this house. They came out of an old hotel in Kansas City.
And you found them somewhere.
No, actually, I'd love to take credit for that, but Anita had them.
Let's just go ahead and take credit. Anita
Okay.
who?
Anita had them. And
She
she
did?
showed them to me, and she said, "Would you like to use these?" And I
Oh
went,
my gosh.
"Oh my gosh, yes,
They
yes."
like, the scale of them is so perfect. Okay, she's been in this business for 50 plus years,
That's right.
and you are going strong. Do you
I
have
am.
any ideas or any intention of ever retiring?
You know, everyone asks me that all the time because I'm way
How
past
rude.
retirement age.
How
but
rude.
the fact of the matter is, design is a talent. It's not something you learn. It's
It's a
something
gift.
you're gifted with. That's exactly right.
I
And as
agree.
long as I keep getting the gifts, why not stay?
What a perfect answer. This is what the pantry looked like before, and this. This has been done by a designer named Dustry. Dustry, I wasn't planning on showing this room. It's so small. I don't even know if we can all get in there, but I'm going to show everyone because I think you did a masterful job. And who doesn't love a great before and after? Come on. Look how cute this is. And it just happened to have come with a really cute window. I'm sure this was here. But she added cabinetry for all of the pantry storage. She's got a little sink here, then it comes up. It completely encloses the washer and dryer, a place here to fold clothes, and a little like window seat. Imagine all the things that can go in these drawers and up above here. It's like a mudroom slash pantry slash laundry room slash overflow of more refrigerator freezer. Good job, Destry. Is it Destry? I think that's how you say it. Good job on completely changing this room. Destry, Anise has
Yes.
joined me right now. This was kind of a fun, you guys saw, I sort of like last minute went, hey, let's include the pantry or laundry room, I guess is what we're calling this. Is it also a
Mud
pantry?
room.
It's a mud room. Hence the little bench
Yes,
seat. Yes.
yes. I was a little frightened, to be honest, because I've been doing some design work and, organizing for a while, but when I looked at the cabinetry, I'm like, how do I showcase the organizational side of things, which is why I brought the digital frame.
I see.
So
Because organizing is really your main thing.
it is.
So Destry and I have talked, and she's going to come over and help me organize. So we're
Yes.
going to start with my Christmas decorations downstairs.
Yes.
But how did you come up with the layout for this room?
Originally, what I based my style on was the artwork. And once I saw the artwork, I pulled all the colors in to make it bright and happy.
So for our viewers, we like to give them a little freebie. What would be a piece of advice or a hack that you might have as it relates to organizing? If you were to tell someone the most important thing is...
I would say don't overthink it, start small, and tell yourself that a little progress is something. I think really we overthink so much and we try to eat the elephant in one bite and we can't.
That's true, and then you get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That's why people have
Don't
bad
start.
garages.
And they never start.
Yeah, that's a really good advice. Okay, anything else?
I don't think so. I could go on and on, but through all the years of experience.
Right,
yes.
right. That's good. All right, one bite at a time. You can eat an elephant.
That's right.
Okay.
Bless yourself.
All right, let's check out how this addition turned out. Now, as far as we can tell, we think this was added in the late 60s when the previous homeowners bought this house. And they used the exterior wall in order to make it now an interior wall. It's added a lot of square footage to this home, and it's really quite unique. Let's take a look. This used to be an exterior wall, and it was a water feature with a fountain down here. Pretty cool, right? What do you do now that it's now an interior wall? She added an area rug to cover this and sort of made it like a fun place for a couple of people to sit and play board games or just hang out. Over here, she's added a large credenza, which I think was a smart idea. This, of course, would be a perfect place to keep those puzzles and those games so you could reach them anytime you want. Some really cool artwork, bringing in the different colors of the brick and the colors she's used in the room. But let's turn around now and take a look at what's going on this side of the room, because this was the thing. You guys remember when I walked through this house originally and I showed you what it looked like in the before photos and the before footage, there was a wall, but the sun had caused coloration differences where all of the tools were. That tells me this was probably, for the previous homeowner, at least at one time, a craft room or a room where things were being made, right? Did they keep those? Because it's kind of cool to have the shadowing from the tools. Let's take a look at what it looks like now. Do you remember in the last video where there were 3 different colors of paint that the designer had put on the wall to kind of get an idea? Was she going to go super light, like an off-white, something in the middle, or something darker? Well, you can see here she chose the darker color. I would call this kind of a putty. It has a gray, muddy gray look to it, but it also has a slight tint of green in it. I think this looks nice with the black and white pieces, 3 in a row. Now, one thing she did that I would have done differently, she used black switch plates. I probably would have tried to find something more the color of the wall so that they disappeared, but she has brought it back in with her artwork there, and I think it looks pretty nice. Let's take a look over here at how she did the furniture placement. Hats off to the designer for how she chose to arrange the furniture in this room. It makes it look like a really comfortable room to come in and hang out. She has a love seat and a sofa, which really starts what I call the perfect conversation area, an L shape. I always try to encourage people to choose a sofa and love seat over a sectional when you can, because you have more flexibility in future homes that you might move to. But she completes the conversational area with a pair of chairs here. That is what it takes for everyone to be able to sit comfortably and be able to look at each other and talk in a conversation. That's why it's called a conversational area, because you tend to want to have a conversation, right? Now this room has a corner fireplace. Do I hear the crowd going crazy? If you know me, if you watch my videos at all, you know that I am not a fan of corner fireplaces. They're very difficult to work around, unless you have a very large room. This is a very large room. So this is not as much of a yikes as it would be if this was a small room and let's say they needed this space for a television or something else. She chose to do art pieces going up. Again, a vertical space was available, and she filled it with 2 pieces that stack in order to get a vertical overall look. The fireplace stone stayed the same color, but she did do the mantle here in the same color as the wall. I think she did a good job. And essentially, she has ignored this space. She doesn't have any furniture around it to be an issue. But when you're sitting in this conversational area here and the fireplace is crackling, it would be quite cozy in here, I think. One of my favorite things about this room addition is it actually has this cool spiral staircase that leads to an overhang, almost like a loggia, I guess I'd call it. This is so cool. I called it a loggia a minute ago. It's actually kind of like a balcony, but it's an interior balcony. I wonder if this was actually here originally. Maybe there was a balcony, I don't know, but I think this is pretty cool. Look at this. Oh my gosh, this is such a great coffee maker. Great use of space. Look at that light fixture. That's so cool. And I love that piece of art as well. So this designer has done a great job of really making use of this very narrow space. And that's not an easy thing to do. A lot of you have small homes and you know what I'm talking about. At the end here, great little coffee center, place to pick up a book and have some nice little indoor-outdoor, not really outdoor, but indoor-indoor quiet time. What a great little place to sit, to have your coffee in the morning. Kind of be alone, but still be part of the home and in the house and protected during the weather in case it's snowing or thunder and lightning, or in case the mosquitoes are out. I mean, it does happen here. I'm sitting here with Beth Zarbano, and she's the designer of this really cute, I don't know, what do we call this?
They're calling it the Overlook, but it was just an outdoor
Overlook.
space that became indoors.
There you go. Did you ask for this space?
It was one of my selections. We're allowed to go with 5. You walk around the house and see what you'd like. And I just saw this as kind of like a good opportunity for something new. I just kind of imagined it as somewhere that you would come and sit for morning coffee, read a book, you know, have a little game night. So since this is a 1920s home, I wanted to still kind of play off of some Art Deco. And so they used a lot of saturated colors. So I just found this really great S. Harris from Fabricut, and then the Stroheim that's been kind of displayed there for a long time, kind of bring the indoor out.
That's actually fabric.
It's actually fabric.
That you had stretched
Yes.
over it. Now there's a really good hack, guys. I love that.
Thank you.
And then you used 3 area rugs, and they're
Yes.
all the same, correct?
They're all the same. I just wanted them to kind of be distinctive of the areas.
I wanted to ask you about this coffee machine. I've never
Yes.
seen this before. Who's this by?
Well, actually, I just got it off of Amazon, but I wanted a color pop instead of just your typical black or white.
Yes.
And then Susan Eddings Perez did this piece, and
We love Susan,
yes,
don't we? You guys know
yes.
Susan. You're going to get to
Yes,
see her.
I've worked with her a lot because she was the liaison when I first started Showcase.
One of the questions I had for you
Yes.
that I saw as a challenge in here was there's no light. You don't have
Yes.
any can lights in this area.
No.
And there's no outlets. Unless, is
We
there
have
one here?
one outlet
Okay,
here.
But down there, the lamp, there's
Yes.
no outlet for that?
Yes.
And you also have these like little table lamps, right? That are
Yes.
super cute. So I think this is a good tip for you guys. What did you do?
So I just opted for a chargeable light bulb, which they're just easy to pop in and out and charge. So the lamp has a light bulb that you just charge.
Did you know that that is an option? I will tell you, I have never used one. I've heard of them. I think Shara, my daughter, uses them. I've never used one, and
Yeah.
I think that's so great because I was filming up here and I was like, how do we turn this light on? I didn't know how. And then I thought, oh, there's no outlet.
Yes.
But you can, what do you do? Just tap it or something?
You just tap it. There's also a remote that comes with it. And then the 2 little pink lamps on the table are chargeable also, and then they just have a little tap on the top.
You tap it and it just comes on. So
Yeah.
that's a really good hack. If you have a space and you don't have an outlet, you can use rechargeable fixtures themselves
Yes.
or just the light bulbs.
Exactly.
Super cool. I think this bedroom is gorgeous. I want to go over some of the details with you. The designer of this room, her name is Pamela Scott, and I got a chance to meet her, and you're going to get a chance to meet her today too. I would call this style of this room a very high-end glam type of look. It's very glamorous, but I love the fact that she's not using like mirrored nightstands. It's glam on a classy note. I also love the fact that if I was staying in this room and I was sitting in this bed, my view straight across from me would be symmetrical, and I love that. Symmetry brings me peace. I also love that the first impression you have when you come into this room on this wall is complete symmetry. When I walked through this house, maybe a month ago, the designers had already started bringing their furniture in, and I came through here to go down there, and as I walked in, I saw this ginormous headboard that almost hit the ceiling, and a wall behind it. And you know what was over there on the side? There was a single window right there, just kind of straddling the edge of the headboard and going up above there. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this woman is putting the headboard against that wall with a window partially showing. I was like mortified for her. She created a canopy effect. And you know what? When I walked in and saw that, I thought, what would I do if I was doing this room? I thought I would curtain all the way across that back wall. This is actually even better. Pamela, job well done. You camouflage the fact that there was a funky window. Guys, if there's anything you take from this video or any of the videos that I ever put up, learn these really amazing tricks, like hacks, things that you could do in your home. So many of you have bedrooms and your headboard is on a wall that has one window and there's no way you can get any symmetry. Learn from Pamela and learn from all the things that I've been telling you and teaching you over the years and the things I teach you in the design sessions, which is a link in the description box below, where you can learn how to take care of challenges like this, like Pamela did. She did an amazing job. All right, you guys, here's Pamela Scott. She is the head designer that designed this room and a room next door to us as well. Let's talk about the one challenge of this room.
Okay.
Because when I first saw it, I walked in and I saw the height and the scale of the headboard and nothing else was on the wall except that horrible window that was all by itself, right? There's no symmetry. And obviously you like symmetry.
So the window is on the left side of the bed and it's not centered, and that created a problem. So I couldn't just put normal drapes there. So I decided to just cover it up.
Cover it up. That's the way to do it. You just cover it up. Pretend it was never there. Well, it's absolutely beautiful. And that's all mounted, I'm sure, to the ceiling, I'm guessing. And then the gorgeous, is it silk? Silk fabric?
Taffeta.
Taffeta.
Yeah.
Very traditional.
Yes. We have a wonderful merchandiser who puts together the vignettes on the floor. And she was a great sounding board, had some great ideas in the design phase, yeah.
Okay, what's her name?
Her name's Heather Johnson.
Heather Johnson. Shout out to Heather. That's great. Well, Pamela, you did such a good job in this room. I think it's lovely. If I was staying in this home, I'd feel like a queen in this king-size bed.
Yes, that's what I wanted.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And guys, what's the name of the store again?
Lewis Allen Design Gallery.
All right. Check out Lewis Allen Design Gallery here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The architecture alone in this stairwell is pretty impressive. It's almost like you have a dome, and then it's got these little insets here. Now, how many of you remember these guys? This is the woman, and there's the man over there. These are from Royce Meyer, and in fact, this whole hallway and stairwell is done by Royce himself. I just want you to know these are mine. I already bought them, but they're on loan. See, I'm loaning it back. Look at how it works out. I think that Royce was really smart in how he chose to put art in this rounded stairwell. How do you do that? Some of you may have rounded walls in your home and you don't know what to do. Because each one of these is very, very narrow, he was able to place them around this space beautifully. Now, I have to admit that art is very subjective, and it's up to one person's taste what they like. When I get up here, I'm going to show you some pretty outrageous stuff that Royce did. He's kind of a crazy guy, but he wanted to bring this hallway and give it kind of a pizzazz and a wow. That's the thing about a showcase house. Each designer has the opportunity to showcase their work or what they offer. And Royce offers art of all kinds. Let's take a look. This artist is known for its missing heads and things growing out of the top of them, and there are 3 in this hallway, perfectly placed next to this girl. She's, what are those? Impatiens? No. Daisies? No. Azaleas. I think they're azaleas. This is Azalea Lady. Let's go on down this way. From Azalea Head, we move down to this very bold, very contemporary piece of art. I can see this in the right home with very contemporary furniture. I think this would be such a stunning piece. It does look stunning here as well, but that's how I see that. And of course, right across from that, we play off the black with Butterfly Head. Yes, this is Butterfly Head. Meet my friend, Butterfly Head. I guess we can all be glad that we didn't see her when she was in her caterpillar stage. And then we complete the hallway with my friend Rosie. Meet Rosie. Let's take a look at what the before footage looks like of what this room was before the designer got started. Lots of possibilities, right? It's off of 2 bedrooms. It's kind of almost like a Jack and Jill space, right? You think of a Jack and Jill bathroom, 2 people share it. Well, 2 people, 2 different rooms will share this room. This designer, her name is Brooke, she decided to make this into a little office space, and I think she did a really nice job. She did some custom pieces of furniture, including these here, and created a really nice focal point. She had this, it's a remnant, a piece of marble that was in a slab stone, and it already had a live edge to it. Then she had some really cool legs added to it and made it into a desk. I'm really glad that Brooke chose to use window treatment panels on all of these rounded windows here, because I think that window treatments add so much to a room. These are gray velvet panels all in one piece. These are on a pocket rod where they gather on the rod themselves, and then she chose to use 1/2-inch rods in a brushed brass, and she hung them in between the top of the ceiling and the top of the window. She also has them kissing on the floor, which is a very good thing. So I think that these have added a lot to this space, and I love the fact that she painted the ceiling black. That did a lot. It's probably an iron ore, something like that, but it's really beautiful when you can color drench a room by doing the ceiling. That looks amazing, and it brings in the warmth and the richness of the color of these drapes just beautifully. This now leads us on into the primary bedroom and bathroom, which are gorgeous. I think this room is actually very beautiful, but before we get started with it, I want to tell you a couple things. First off, this painting here, this is a Jean Richardson piece. It's an original oil painting, and I happen to have an affinity to the Richardson paintings. I have one in my own living room, and I used one at the Cliff House in San Diego when I was working on that last project. I love her work. It's very impressionistic, and it's always horses. So let's turn your heads around and show you what's on this view. This bedroom was designed by Aaron Harp, and I have to say, of all the rooms in this house, aside from the entryway, this room most closely resembles my own design aesthetic. I love what she did in this room, starting with painting the ceiling a gorgeous chocolate brown. It's actually not chocolate, it's more like milk chocolate. She brings it down to where the crown molding starts, and then the walls are white. I love how she's done this beautiful upholstered bed here, gorgeous bedding. She has a great lumbar pillow here, and then she does a coverlet at the end of the bed, which you often see me do. And then 2 nightstands that match on either side, a pair with a pair of lamps. I love the oversized scale of these lamps, how it brings in this brushed brass, and then this over tall drum shade. I think that just looks so good, and it's very kind of retro looking to a certain degree. And then she has brought that brass in again in the light fixture she hung from the ceiling. So I think this looks really beautiful. She has set it on an oversized area rug, and this looks to be a hand knotted rug. It has all very neutral colors, and it just sets a foundation, which is really beautiful and lovely. This is where Erin reflects my style as well, because this is a vertical space that's available. Do you understand what I'm saying that? You've got more height than you do width. So how do you do that? You either put a tall, thin piece of art here, or you stack 2 pieces on top of each other to get a vertical impression of art. She's got a smaller one on top, which is what I typically do, and a larger one on the bottom because it gives it a foundation to sit on. It's proportionately correct, in my opinion. I'm going to point out to you her window treatments, and I'm going to explain something to you. Typically, I do not care for rod pocket type drapes. They're the ones that gather on the rod. In this case, she has used, it looks to me like a 1-inch brass rod. I like the finials, which are just caps. They're not fancy. They don't draw attention to themselves. But the reason it looks good in this room to be on a rod pocket and gathered is because they go on the windows. They're sheer. It's meant to create a filtered light effect in the room, which is very dreamy, very romantic. If these are intended to ever be open, then I would have put these on the wall instead of the window. But because I believe her intent is for them to remain closed, she gets this beautiful light filtering effect. She added a band on the bottom, which looks to me to be about 18 inches from the floor. And then she hung them from the ceiling. Now, this is where we would have done it differently, but she's chosen to hang them between the top of the window and the bottom of the crown right there. So she's kind of in the middle. She didn't go all the way up, but I do think these look really nice. And that little bit of brass there, the brass on the lamps, the brass on the chandelier, and the brass around the frame above the bed ties it all together. She's repeating a matter. Good job, Erin. This primary bathroom is beautiful, no matter how you look at it. But I think to really fully appreciate what Erin Harp did in this room as well is to see what this bathroom looked like before. You wouldn't even think it's the same space, would you? I think that Erin did a great job at really making this space as functional and open and beautiful as possible. And it pulls in the same color scheme from the other room, gives it again that brass, bringing that in from the bedroom. Not only is this fabulous, wait until you turn around and see what's on that side of the room. Not only is it absolutely gorgeous, but it has my favorite piece of art that's in this entire home, another piece from Royce Meyer. I honestly think I'm probably the first person in this newly renovated home to try out the tub, and it's fabulous. So Erin used a freestanding tub, and this one is so beautiful. Look at this ribbed edging. It's almost like thick corduroy, right? It's got that, scalloped all the way across. It's beautiful, kind of gives a vintage look, I think. Look at this. She has put a little niche right here in this wall for, you know, the things you'd need when you're in the tub. One of the things I absolutely love that I noticed just now, take a look at these faucets. It's like got a black onyx handle, but take a look at that piece of art. Isn't that just fabulous? And it's so fabulous in this location. I think she did such a good job at this. She even has like a little table here for your accoutrement. I don't know, I think I'd put a glass of wine there, maybe some cheese and a book, something like that. I would be spending a lot of time in here, I can tell you that. How fun is it to be here with Erin Harp? She's the woman who designed this primary bedroom and bathroom.
Yes.
And I gotta say, it's like my favorite room in the house.
Thank you.
It's absolutely beautiful. I could live in a room like this.
Thanks. That's what I was kind of going for, just a livable space.
I love your sense of symmetry in this room. Tell me what you thought. Did you pick this room, number one?
I did pick this room. I picked the primary bedroom, and then they approached me to do the
bathroom as well. And who doesn't want to do an ensuite, right?
Well, it's a lot of work. So I really wasn't prepared for that, but I'm so glad I got to do it because it's just lovely. Okay, so when I came into this room, it was orange, which you saw in the pictures.
Love orange.
It was so beautiful.
And shag carpet.
Sherbet. And I don't know, I just saw the light in all the windows, and I just thought how pretty this room could be. At first I was going to color wash the whole walls. It would be the brown, and then I was like, I kind of like the...
Showing the differentiation.
Yes, and I like the lighter drapes on the light walls, and then bringing that color and making the chandelier just pop.
Yeah, I think so too. And one of the things I love about the room is how you did your window treatments, that they are light filtering. So instead of being, you guys know I teach you to put your window treatments on the walls, not the windows. But there are certain cases when it's perfect to be on the window, and this is it. So your intention was not that these windows would ever be open, these treatments.
No.
It's just to give this like dreamy sort of a cloud experience. And how often do you have a primary bedroom that has windows on 3 sides?
It's difficult. At first, I had the bed rearranged, and then this fit so perfectly between the 2 windows.
Yes. And this is your focal point wall.
Yes.
So it makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense for
it
it to be
does.
on that wall. And then tell us about your art selections.
These are local artists. This is Susan. She's Susan Eddings. She's throughout the house.
You guys know Susan
Yeah.
Eddings.
And then
She leaves her mark.
she does.
Oh my gosh, that one over the tub.
She's local too, and her name is Audra. And
I'll tell you, Tulsa's got some great artists.
They really do.
Really do. And then the Richardson,
Yeah,
it's horse painting
beautiful,
behind you.
beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
And then this is Derek Pence.
Well, you've got all the greats in this room.
Well, I love art.
It's Derek Pintick, isn't it? Or
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
See, I'm great with names.
He's good, but he left Tulsa. He moved to California when I moved to Tulsa. I was like, I'm going to take this personally.
Oh, I
Yeah,
would
he's
too.
really great. I've always loved his
Maybe
work.
I should take his paintings down.
Exactly. I think you should. A lot of my viewers, many of them can afford to do a room like this. And we've got it all kinds, all backgrounds, everything. However, I want to ask, if you were going to go look for something to put into a home and you needed to do it on a budget, where would you shop for a great,
That's a really good question. My thought is there's so many cool little knickknacks at Target. You can find things at Walmart. I think you just have to have that eye just to look for something that is like, oh, that could be cute, and try it. If it doesn't work, take it back.
Take it back.
Yeah, keep your receipt.
Yeah. Are you like me, like an overbuyer?
Oh, of course.
I overbuy, try it,
Yep.
and then return what I don't use.
I do that all the time.
Well, you have to, because
Yeah.
you have to see it in the space
Right.
to know if it's going to work. Thank you so much
thank
for
you.
spending these few minutes with us.
Yeah.
Again, I think you're a great designer. I'm glad
Thank
I got
you.
to meet you through
I am
this. and
too.
We got to
Yeah.
get together.
I love that.
I
Let's
would
do that.
too.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's say hello, goodbye, and thank you to Erin Hart.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, are you ready? I've saved the best for last. This is where all the fun happened. I can honestly, like in my mind, I can visualize who the original owners were of this house. They built this house so they could hide it from the cops. But apparently they were swingers or something, because down here is where all the fun begins. How is this for so much fun? Imagine this, the music playing, it's kind of that, 30s, 40s vibe. The house was built in the 20s, so you can imagine this was probably the hot spot in the neighborhood where everyone came to hide from the cops. Under here, there is a fabulous wine cellar. Yeah, that's where they'd hide the booze. And look, there's even like a buzzer here to buzz people. And then over on this side, there's a built-in bar. What I love, if you take a look at what this looked like before, I believe it was all white or just not much color. This room has been color drenched in a very dark, rich paint hue. It's kind of a teal color. They also have divided this space with these kind of a butterscotch color. It is butterscotch, definitely. But what you're looking at is the lining. So if I had done these curtains, I probably would have done double butterscotch on either side so that it looked as good on that side as it does on this side. Because this may be where you stop to get your drinks, but that room there is where you go to play. I am giving thumbs up to Lifestyles Lighting and Design, the company that took on this basement. This area here is what I call an exercise in symmetry. All 3 spaces in this downstairs area are individual. They're unique in and of themselves. At the same time, the designers were able to add elements, salt and peppered through, of symmetry. to create a cohesive look within these three, actually 4 spaces. You have this piece of furniture here, 1 piece of art, 2 piece of art, 3 piece of art, total symmetry, 2 lamps, center thing here, and these really amazing speakers, which I love. Then you've got on either side of that, you have the 2 leaded glass windows. Here's where they did a change so that things aren't 100% mirrored. There is interest, it's different. You've got 2 chairs over here with a pedestal in between, and then you have a bench kind of seat here, but you see how they take the foundation of symmetry and then in the right spots, they break it up. Let's go over to this side of the room and see what I'm talking about. So the seating here and the seating here is symmetrical. This piece right here in the middle is what creates that focal point, and then it mirrors itself going out. The piece of art in the center the same. However, they decided not to do the same exact lamps here, but this rung effect down here in the brass and this brass effect right here, I think that it has a nice tie-in together. So on this side of the room, the architecture is not necessarily symmetrical. You have a window here, you have an opening here, but the furniture is. That room, it's the architecture that's identical and the furniture so not. And on the other side of the room, it's going to mimic this. It's going to have the furniture that's symmetrical and not the architecture. I believe this is a cast concrete, and look at the design. Does it not mimic the terrazzo flooring perfectly? It brings in the same lines that are in the windows. There's just this connection of a repeating of a matter and a design element that just is brought back in over and over again that adds so much to this room and gives it its own character. But look at the 2 torchère lamps on either side, the side tables, even the artwork on either side of this fireplace, leading down to 2 matching chairs with matching pillows sitting on a cowhide rug. This, I would say, is a perfect example of using symmetry in a room in the way of furniture. So, did you learn the lesson here? Sometimes it's your furniture or your placement that does it, and sometimes it's actually the architecture of your home itself. Either way, you can create a sense of peace and certainly a very fun space using symmetry. Well, that covers it for this year's Tulsa Showcase House for 2025. I hope you've had a great time. I want to say thank you to the Home Builders Association for allowing me to come in and film this and bring it to you, my audience. We are putting this video up right away so that you know that this is happening and you can go see the house before they close it. Whoever is going to buy this house is going to be one lucky person. Would you not agree? Leave me a comment below and let me know, what was your favorite room? Which designer did you most resonate with? Remember, there were 22 designers. I can put all their names. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put all their names in the description box below if you want to know who participated in this. And of course, my favorites that you got to meet today. I hope you enjoyed meeting them. I know that I did. To me, it's like the best part about the whole thing. I think the house turned out great. I want to know what you think. All right, so leave me a comment. And I have one last thing to say. This guy right here, right here, yeah, he's a little disturbing. I think especially after a martini or two, I'm just saying.
This is like a little throwback from last year.
What is it?
If you'd given me more time, I would have made a t-shirt. You are now a card-carrying member of the...
I can't read it under my
Oh
glasses
my gosh,
on.
seriously, I don't have my glasses either.
Oh my!
So
I
it's
told you we're
supposed
twins.
to say Team No Corner Fireplaces, established 2024. Private joke, but those of you that watched last year's video.
That gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. And talk.
I don't know if they
And
like
talk.
us, but we
had fun.
like us. We think we're
We had fun.
fabulous.
Thank you. We had so much fun.